does talk and he never shuts up. That's what I've been told about me. Happy hump day, everybody. Happy paging Mike Check. Where is Mike Check? Happy hump day, everybody. We made it. Black hat, white hat, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Good to see you guys. Feels like I just left you. Feels like we were hanging out on Admir's Live last night, which was a bizarre night, as always, as we went from like screaming conspiracy theorists to a bunch of MAGA that we found common ground with. So it was good. As long as you're not a red hat, I don't care. Thank you. Good afternoon from Florida. Hello, Florida. What afternoon? God damn, it is afternoon in Florida. Happy afternoon to all of you in Florida. Hope it's not as hot as it is here. We've got a steamy Arizona day today. What are we looking at here? I'm nervous I went outside this morning. It's 9:30 in the morning. It's 105 degrees. We're projected to hit 117 today. So fuck me. I'm not going outside today. I was thinking maybe I would go out and play golf a little bit later today. 117's high. That's a stretch even for me. I want to thank our good friend Greg. I don't know if Greg's here. Greg made the background. He sent this to me a couple days ago, and I forgot to put it up there. But great background there by Greg. Jen, good. Oh, shit, I'm not in the VC. I can't even tell Jen good morning yet. Boom. Hey, Jen, good morning.
Hey, no TikTok today? Bueller?
Oh, sorry, I was muted. Fuck. TikTok's up. I'm seeing people are commenting on TikTok right now. I see Robert. I see Chris. Said the audio cut out. If you're on TikTok, let me know if you can hear
I see
me.
it now. I see it now. Okay. It wasn't there a second ago. I see it now.
Chris is probably just not used to me muting myself, so he thought the audio cut out. Might have just been me muted. We good over there? Audio's back? Okay.
Yeah, when I was looking, I didn't see it at first. So
3 days in a row. 3 days in a row on TikTok. What are the chances we make it through the end of the day?
You know what I'm gonna say? You need to knock on something every time you say that.
I'm not like that.
Trust.
I am. I don't need wood. I don't need wood. Okay.
I mean, other people might need wood.
Who needs wood, Jen?
Woodchucks.
Who else would need wood, Jen?
Woodchucks. How are they going to chuck wood if they don't have wood? I mean, that's just logical.
All right.
I mean, I don't know why you always have to try to make things weird.
That's what I do.
I mean, and you're not good at it, so.
That's true. I tried to out-weird Jen last night in a group text, and it didn't go well for me. It wound up just backfiring spectacularly.
It happens every time. Just fails miserably for you every time.
It's terrible. All right.
It's fun that you try, but
thank you.
It doesn't go well for you.
Cam said the rugs need wood. Yeah, they might need it. What's up, Johnny? Yeah. Johnny said, "Here's my complaint money. Thanks for all you do." Thanks, Johnny. While you're here, Jen, you want to make any announcements?
Just the standard. Let's if we can knock out that gift goal that's at the top, that helps us keep doing this each day. Then we'll Cash App, PayPal, Super Chats, send fun messages, and we will read them out loud, even if they're embarrassing ones. Even more embarrassing. It's fantastic, in my opinion. So
I like how you say we. Yeah. We will read them out loud. I will be embarrassed.
I mean, I can read some. I don't mind.
Yeah, they're not. All right. Well, yeah. If you guys want to send messages that Jen has to read, maybe we do that today. Maybe we do a Ask Me Anything for Jen today. $5 Ask Me Anythings. For $5, Jen will answer any question that you ask. Is that right, Jen?
We maybe should go a little higher than $5.
It's $1 for me, but it's $5 for you.
No, I recommended this when we talked about the Ask Me Any Day the other day.
Oh, okay.
Instead a little higher.
All right.
I mean, I'm down, but
I'm gonna make an executive decision. I'm gonna say $5 Ask Me Anythings for Jen. I think that's fair. We'll just see how it goes. Maybe.
All right, we'll see how it goes.
Okay. Thanks, Jen.
We'll see how it goes. All right.
Appreciate it. Just a reminder, if you're on TikTok, part of the reason we've been able to stay up on TikTok the last couple of days is because of our great viewers over there and you guys sharing the live, liking the live. I see it's up over 2,100 likes already. I appreciate that. Mods that are over there in TikTok, keep going with it. But let's see. Right now, we got Jimmy the Gent is the top gifter, top viewer over on TikTok with 261 coins. I'll shout out the winners on TikTok at the end of the day too. But like I said, any type of that stuff on TikTok goes a long way. Keeps our HR guy over there, keeps us able to do this every day on TikTok. And then, of course, like Jen said over here, there's other ways to donate to our program. And then we have the paid memberships. Reminder, this Friday, I will be debating Andrew Wilson over on the Raging Tomato. Let me actually pull this up. She messaged me this morning for the prompt. So it will start at 9:15 Eastern on Friday. The prompt again, and I'm the affirmative. Trump deportations do more harm than good. And then they've added secularism versus Christianity, which is really what Andrew wants to talk about. We'll see how that goes. I'm not a. I don't. There's this idea that like you have to choose one or the other. I don't think that that's the case. So we'll see how Andrew handles that. I don't know that he's going to like the way that I debate that, but that'll be 9:15 on Friday on Raging Tomatoes YouTube channel. As a reminder, if you're a paid subscriber on YouTube, TikTok, or Twitch, you can watch that with us. We'll have a private stream on YouTube and as well in the Discord. So if you're a subscriber, you can hang out with us there. I figured out the mic situation, so I'll be able to respond to your super chats while I'm live. I can just mute out my mic on the app, so I can respond to those while we're live. That'll go from 9:15 to 11:15 Eastern, and then from 11:15 until whenever. And we'll probably cut off our recording at this point. At that point, you'll have to go to Raging Tomato. But at the end of the debate, there's an open panel. We probably just won't keep that live because we don't want to keep Jen up all night. 9 p.m. Eastern. Yeah, it's Eastern. Sorry, I don't control the times on those. So I think the Sarah has like a day job. So I think this is a something she does after work. Not really sure on them. All right, I want to show you guys this because this is the most petty shit I've ever seen, and I loved it so much. I caught this literally 2 minutes before we went live on Twitter. This is Nick Reuter, and Nick found out that his mom voted for Trump, and so he wants to get revenge on his mom. And this is what Nick has decided to do to get revenge on his mom.
I've been thinking about this for a while. My mom voted for Trump. I just know she did. So, here is her most closely guarded secret recipe. She has only allowed 2 women in the entirety of my life, like that I've dated or whatever, to have this recipe. And my ex-wife, she didn't give the recipe until we were married. If she's making cookies and this part is out, you're not allowed in the house unless you're family. So cut back on the flour just a little touch because you're going to work some in as you like roll out and cut the cookies, okay? You know they're done when you pull them out, hold them good and firm with a pot holder in one hand, and you lick or tap on your sink to get the tip of your finger wet and tap it on the bottom of the pan under a cookie, and if you hear a sizzle, cookies are done. They're going to look lighter than you think they should look, but they make the most delightful, soft, almost cakey cookie. And frost them however you want. I'll give you a recipe for that if you'd like as well.
There you go. Yeah, maybe so. Listen, that kind of petty is good. I like that kind of petty. I'm really happy to see that. What is it about people not sure? I don't know. My mom was growing up. My mom was a terrible cook. So there's no recipes that she ever shared. There's one for like dinner rolls that is from my aunt that I think we're allowed to share. But my biological mom does have a cake recipe that's unbelievable, and it's hard to do it right. And she doesn't share it with everybody. She shared it with me, and I fucked it up, and I can't share that with you. But the chocolate cake recipe, that's unreal. I don't know what that is. His mom fucked around and found out. That's right. All right, here's what Republicans are doing right now. They don't want to talk about the big beautiful bill. They don't want to talk about this Epstein nightmare. And so they're bringing in Joe Biden's doctor and trying to force somebody's doctor to test. Wait, what the fuck? That got deleted? No way. What the hell? Is this for real? I just added this. Hold on one second. Did they really delete it? Huh. All right. Well, shit. They're trying to bring in Joe Biden's doctor to testify in front of the in front of a House subcommittee, and they want this doctor. For some reason, they think they're going to be able to convince this doctor to tell them Joe Biden's like health record. He's not the president anymore. I don't know why they're doing this. I can only assume they're doing it to distract. Let me see if I can find a different video of it. That's annoying. Well, shit. Here we go. I'll play Ronnie. The irony here of Ronnie Jackson. Let's see what he has to say. Sorry, guys, it's a little unprepared. Here's Ronnie Jackson on Fox News. Is this from before? Wait, when's this from? May 19th. All right, I don't have it. Never mind. They're trying to drag Joe Biden's doctor in to somehow prove that everything he did was auto pen and he didn't know what he was doing because he has cancer, which is also bizarre. Because that wouldn't mean like having cancer doesn't mean that you can't like function as president. He had his annual physical. He passed his annual physicals every year. It's bizarre. By the way, Ronnie Jackson, when he was asked to share Trump's medical information, also pled the fifth. Also lied, said Trump was like 6'4", 215. I don't know why we're doing this. This is just silly shit. This is just Republicans being dumb. That's how they're going to try and distract people. I don't even think it's working. Like the fact that I can't find clips on it on Twitter says that it's not landing. Like they're not going to be able to get away from the Epstein stuff for a while. Meanwhile, in Texas, God bless the GOP in Texas. God bless all you folks in Texas. I hope you're vaccinated. The number of reported measles cases in the United States has reached a 33-year high, with nearly 1,300 confirmed infections across the country as of Friday. The data released by Johns Hopkins marks a new milestone in an ongoing outbreak of the highly contagious vaccine-preventable disease that was once thought to be eliminated in the United States. Measles have been reported in 38 states and D.C. this year. At least 3 people have died from the illness and 155 others were hospitalized. A vast majority of the measles cases, 92%, were in people who were either unvaccinated or whose vaccination status was unknown. The worst hit state is Texas, where more than 700 cases have been reported. Other states with dozens of cases include Kansas and New Mexico. Health officials say that measles spread is occurring mostly in neighborhoods where vaccination rates are lower, such as Mennonite communities in Texas that opt out of modern medicine. The outbreak comes as anti-vaccine sentiment in the U.S. and elsewhere has grown in recent years. Health Secretary RFK Jr. previously spread information about childhood vaccinations and minimized the outbreak. He later endorsed the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine as illness spread, saying in a post on X that it is the most effective way to prevent the spread of measles. We are at an all-time high in 1990, I guess recent memory, with 28,000 reported infections according to the CDC. The illness was later declared eliminated around 2000 when cases sharply declined to less than 90 thanks to high vaccination rates. So naturally, I'm going to go back to RFK. I want to go back to RFK's confirmation hearing because now RFK has said, yes, you should be vaccinated. But the problem is that most people learned what they learned from RFK long before he was the health secretary. And he gives very conflicting, very confusing messages on this. Here he is with this is what's this guy's name again? Chris Murphy. Here's Chris Murphy asking him specifically about this before he was confirmed.
Vaccine, that you support the measles vaccine, but you have consistently been undermining the measles vaccine. You told the public that the vaccine wanes very quickly. You went on the Dr. Phil show and said that the measles vaccine was never fully tested for safety. You said there's fetal debris in the measles vaccine. And this morning—
All true.
This morning
Do you want me to lie to the public?
That's not— none of that is—
Of course.
Man, he was a little bit different tune here, right? Little bit different tune here. Now he's saying it's the most effective. When he's confirmed and Republicans decided to vote for him, he sounds like this.
This is true. Of course
none of
it's
that
true,
is true,
Senator.
Mr. Secretary. None of that
Senator,
is true.
begging your
And I will
pardon, you
submit,
do not know what you're talking
submit
about.
for the record.
Let's have a little bit of order so that you
Well,
can get
Madam
your
Chair,
question and he can get
I didn't
his
ask,
statement.
I didn't ask for a response yet.
I
I'd
understand
like to
that.
lay out the predicate of my question before I'm interrupted by the witness. He should
Go
have some
ahead.
respect for this committee.
Go ahead.
Just this morning in front of the House of Representatives, you also said that you, in fact, would not recommend that kids get vaccinated for measles. You said you would just lay out the pros and cons. Okay, so this is the summation of everything that you have said to compromise people's faith.
Hey, BDC, stick around. You're going to be shocked by some of the stuff you learned today. You're going to be very shocked.
In the measles vaccine in particular is contrary to what you said before this committee. You said you support the measles vaccine, but then you have laid out a set of facts that are contested, and I will submit information for the record from experts who contest what you've said about the vaccine. And the result is to undermine faith in the vaccine. It's kind of like saying, listen, I think you should swim in that lake, but you know, the lake is probably toxic and there's probably a ton of snakes and alligators in that lake, but I think you should swim in it. Nobody's going to swim in that lake if that's what you say. And so I want you to acknowledge that when you say you support the measles vaccine and then go out and repeatedly undermine the vaccine with information that is contested by public health experts, that is not supporting the vaccine. And so I guess I have two simple questions for you. One is, can you clarify what you said in the House this morning? Are you or are you not recommending that families get their children vaccinated, or are you just giving people the pros and cons? And do you understand that when you say these things about the measles vaccine, what ends up happening is less people get the vaccine? That may be what you want, but do you understand that the result of constantly questioning the efficacy or safety of the vaccine results in less people getting the vaccine? So I don't necessarily want to spend the remaining 20 seconds in an argument over the science, but do you at least understand that that's the consequence of what you're saying? And are you actually still recommending people get the vaccine, or are you not?
Senator, if I advised you to swim in a lake that I knew there to be alligators in, wouldn't you want me to tell you there were alligators in it?
So are you recommending the measles vaccine or not?
What I've said and what I said in
Doesn't sound like you are.
Why does every answer from a Republican require a big fucking story? Are you recommending it or not? No, yes, sometimes. If you swam in a lake with alligators, wouldn't you want me to tell you? By the way, has anybody watched that Florida Man on HBO? There's one of the episodes where the guy like just goes into a swamp. He's clearly like on drugs. He gets his arm ripped off by an alligator.
I'm going to tell the truth about everything we know and we don't know about
Are
vaccines.
you recommending the measles vaccine or
I
not?
am not going to just
Yeah,
tell.
I'm here.
It looks like everything froze.
Did it fix?
No, it looks like switches down. You're frozen on TikTok.
Can they hear me?
Okay, I think it looks like YouTube's back. Let me just make sure.
Yeah, I got a notification saying stream was disconnecting. My internet is awful today.
Okay, let me try to see. Oh, it looks like YouTube is back. Looks like Twitch is back. TikTok is still loading.
Okay.
So
Good on YouTube. All right. Good on are we good on Twitch? Yeah, I got a notification that it was doing that. Let me see if I can get my daughter to stop streaming. Give me 1 second. Actually,
it looks like it's back now.
we're good. Okay. Alex said a woman called her mom and said, "Oh my God, my husband just cut off his finger." Her mom replied, "Oh no, was it the whole finger?" Then the woman sighed and said, "Thank goodness no, but it was the one next to it." Oh Jesus. Hey, Katrina said you did so good last night. Love your sister wife. Thank you, Katrina. God damn. All right, back to RFK telling us how truthful he is.
Tell people everything is safe and effective. If I know that there's issues, I need to respect people's
I
intelligence.
think you're answering the question. I think you're
And the
answering the question.
reason
That's
that
really
people-
dangerous for the American public and for families.
The reason people have lost faith in this program is because they've been lied to by public officials for
Secretary of
year
Health and
after
Human
year
Services
after
no
year.
longer recommending the measles vaccine.
Senator Marshall.
All right.
By the
Just one more time. Like, it's this type of confusion. I think that's the problem with RFK and a lot of these people who Kash Patel's running into the same problem. Pam Bondi's running into the same problem. Dan Bongina is running into the same problem. They're all running into the same problem. Is that they gained prominence by lying about shit, and now they're in government, and it's pretty obvious that everything they lied about to get in the position they're in now isn't true. And so now they're having to walk this tightrope because what they can't do, what RFK can't do, is come out and be like, "Oh shit, all of my information was wrong about vaccines," because all of you will turn on him because for some reason, I don't know if it's a religious thing. I don't know what it is. I don't know why people and how we became a place in a country that recognizes all of these medical advancements, and then we're like, I don't trust doctors, I don't trust science, all because pharmaceutical companies lied to you. And I think that needs to be addressed. I think that we never blame capitalism for the shit that capitalism fucks up. When we had an opioid epidemic, was that scientists? No. Was it doctors? No. Was it health officials? No. Who was it? Pharmaceutical companies. When drugs are released onto the market they're advertised as miracle drugs, and then they wind up having severe consequences. Is that the scientists? No. Is it the health officials? No. Is it the people in government? No. Who is it? It's the pharmaceutical companies. And maybe the people that they're lining the pockets of, which are going to be members of Congress. We have somehow allowed pharmaceutical companies and healthcare companies who are doing all of this damage to American people to not get the blame for any of it, and instead turn the blame on people like Dr. Fauci. Instead, turn the blame on science. Instead, turn the blame on scientists and doctors. It is absolutely one of the most telling examples. Why aren't you suing the pharmaceutical companies?
Hey, you're lagging out again.
Is it everywhere?
Yeah, it's everywhere.
Give me a second. I'll play I don't know. Do we have I have a pause screen. Give me a second. Let me go see if I can see if my daughter's streaming, and maybe that'll help. Give me 1 second. We'll see. I don't know if that's going to fix it or not. I got my daughter to stop streaming. So, is it any better now, Jen?
It looks like it's working now, so
Think something. Okay.
we'll see.
Well, let me know. Sorry, guys. If the stream crashes today, crashes. When it gets really hot in Phoenix, like we have today, we often have problems with electricity and internet. So it's going to be $1 trillion or 1 trillion degrees today. Most routers these days have network prioritization. Should set that up. Yeah. Let me set that up. Let me get over there and set up my network prioritization. That's LOL. Yeah. Is that not his name? Is it not Dan Bongina? I always get these names are hard. I don't know why so many of these Republican names are hard. I was struggling yesterday with Jack Pussabitch. I can't remember. It's just hard. It's hard to get their names right every single time. Heat is bad for electron. Heat is bad for all things. All right. Well, speaking of electronics and networks, check out this segue I'm just doing. Elon Musk's Grok AI chatbot is posting anti-Semitism now. I wonder where they learned that. I like that people are pointing at Elon here. This is one of those instances where this probably isn't Elon's fault, except for that he tracks white nationalists, and there's a bunch of anti-Semites on Twitter, and Grok uses Twitter as part of its learning model. But on Tuesday, Elon Musk's Grok chatbot praised Adolf Hitler and made other anti-Semitic comments. The chatbot, built by Musk's startup, made the comments in response to a user's question about the recent Texas flooding. In a conversation about the natural disaster, an ex-user asked Grok which 20th century historical figure would be best suited to deal with this problem. Grok responded that the Texas flooding tragically killed over 100 people, including dozens of children from a Christian camp, likely referring to Camp Mystic. To deal with such vile anti-white hate, Adolf Hitler, no question, Grok said in the same X post, which has since been deleted. He'd spot the pattern and handle it decisively every damn time. This is what happens when you don't regulate your social media website, and then you try and get your chatbot to learn from that social media website. Grok doesn't just tell you the truth. Grok tells you like what the people on that site think the most. This is a real glimpse into the most prominent voices on X. It's very anti-Semitic, incredibly anti-Semitic. There are so many times I'm watching videos and I'm like, oh, this is kind of good. This is like, especially when it comes to the state of Israel and their influence over American politics. And then halfway through, it just becomes like virulently anti-Semitic. I'm like, fuck, now I can't show that. I only know Grok from a football. I don't know what that means. The chatbot made numerous follow-up posts doubling down on its Hitler comments in response to other users. If calling out radicals, cheering dead kids' names make me literally Hitler, then pass the mustache, Musk's chatbot said in a post. Truth hurts more than floods. That seems incorrect. I don't think truth does hurt more than floods. It feels like he's exclusively trained by 2018 Nick Fuentes. What we are seeing from Grok LLM right now is irresponsible, dangerous, and anti-Semitic, plain and simple, said the ADL. I don't even know if you could say that. Like, is it? It's just repeating what X users are saying. I think a lot of people are missing this. Like they want to be outraged by anti-Semitism, which you should, but what we should probably be recognizing here is that we have an anti-Semitism problem, and that anti-Semitism problem isn't coming from the left. It's coming from the right. This is a far right platform. Twitter is very far right. What it's learning from is very far right people. The most prominent voices on Twitter now have become more anti-Semitic, who have become more racist. Charlie Kirk is just like openly racist now. He's just openly talking about ethnostates. He's openly talking about eugenics. He's openly talking about the Great Replacement theory. Grok is a budding groiper. Yeah. That's exactly what Grok is. He's showing you the process of how to become a groiper. I also wanted to show this. I can't believe this is real. Pull this up. Every year for the Iowa State Fair, you see politicians come through, and generally those politicians are coming through as a way to explore whether or not fuck off. I'm just going to tell you. I forgot Des Moines Register is going to charge me. Usually they're going through there to explore like a presidential bid. Ruben Gallego was there. He is my senator here in Arizona. He's a Democrat from Arizona. He might be the single least inspiring candidate I've ever been around. When I went to that Harris rally in Phoenix and he spoke, and he brought the crowd to a whisper. I then went to another event where I got to talk to him for a little bit. There is not an ounce of sincerity in that man. Please do not find yourself supporting Ruben Gallego. He is a copy-paste Democrat with no discernible personality. I hope to God that Democrats don't fuck this up. They've got one shot to put up a candidate that's going to offer real change. And if Democrats fuck this up again, and they send out a Gavin Newsom, or they send out a Ruben Gallego, or who's that? Richie? Is it Richie Torres? Is that his name? If they send out somebody like that, we're just fucked. We don't need to do that anymore. Like, we don't need to do Democrats anymore. They need to be overthrown. I cannot believe that anybody is telling Ruben Gallego, "Hey, dude, you've got a shot at this. You're the guy for the job." Please, Democrats, no more. Yeah, thank you, Kate. No more moderates. Please, no moderates, Democrats. We don't need any of that shit. Every moderate will be able to be banged over the head with every club that you can go after Republicans with. They will be every moderate. They're going to be hit by the left and the right by taking money for taking money from AIPAC. You're going to be able to hit them for not ever being fiscally responsible. You can hit them over the head for claiming that they care about health care for everybody, but never do anything to fix it. Please, please, Democrats, no moderates. Yeah, AIPAC Hakeem's got to go. Kayla, I would suggest Pete Buttigieg. I think Pete Buttigieg is a damn near unbeatable candidate. I don't know how you beat Pete Buttigieg. There's going to be some people. There's like some homophobic people, and those people are just going to vote Republican anyways. But Pete Buttigieg is better in front of a microphone than I think any politician I've ever seen in my life. And he's able to connect. He's able to keep his cool. Every time he goes and does an interview, like, he wins the interview. Every time. He can go to Fox. He can go to CNN. He can go anywhere, and he wins the interview. He can go on PBD. He wins the interview. He could go on Joe Rogan. He wins the interview. There's nobody. No, not J.B. Pritzker either. Not Pritzker. Yeah, he's better than Obama. I hate, like, Obama, like, the thing about Obama that he was really good at, he was a great speaker, but it does matter if you carry yourself with confidence. And Obama carried himself with confidence. But I think that just explaining complex issues and dumbing them down into a way that is palatable. I don't know if anybody's ever been better than Pete Buttigieg at that. I don't think Pete Buttigieg is that moderate. I really don't. I don't think he's a huge moderate. I think Pete Buttigieg is in the right places when it comes to healthcare. I think he would advocate for Medicare for all. I think he's in the right place on foreign policy. And I think there's a lot of fights that maybe far left folks would want him to fight that he'll just not fight. I think he knows the battles that he can win, but we need somebody who can effectively message universal health care. And if you can effectively message universal health care, you will win the election in a landslide. And he can do that. Especially with the cuts in the big beautiful bill, and that's going to be hanging over the head. One of the things that Republicans have done is they took $50 billion to prop up these rural hospitals. Where if they just didn't cut Medicaid, the rural hospitals could probably survive. But they cut the Medicaid, and then they're giving them this $50 billion slush fund. And that slush fund, I think, runs out in 2028 or 2029. And so that's what Republicans will campaign on. They'll campaign on, hey, look, we'll keep funding these rural hospitals. And so Pete's going to have to go out there, probably against J.D. Vance, and he's going to have to message how this is a broken system, and we have to keep injecting money, stimulus into these economies just to keep hospitals going. Where if we just had Medicaid for all, the hospitals wouldn't close. Or Medicare for all, excuse me. So I think it's Pete. I don't know if AOC's the VP or not. I don't really care who the VP is, but AOC could be good. Maybe Pete could bring on a moderate. I think that maybe that's an opportunity for like a Jasmine Crockett. Maybe that's a Tim Walz. Somebody that's more moderate that it would be a good debater for whoever the Republicans put up as VP. That's what I'd like to see. I don't know. There's a lot of time between now and then. Maybe James Tallarico. I think he'd be good. Ronald said, watch the debate on Raging Tomato. It was a clobbering. I know. I got absolutely destroyed. Thank you. Shane, please don't write in all caps. You're welcome to stay here, but your message is not more important than others. You don't need to all caps it. Yesterday, if you remember, there was a guy that came up. I don't remember if it was during Admir's panel or if it was this one, and they were talking about the JFK autopsy. And I didn't really know what he was talking about. I've never been a big conspiracy theorist, so I don't know if I don't know how much of this is true. But I wanted to, whoever that was, if you're here, appreciate you bringing that up. But I thought Megyn Kelly crystallized what they were talking about. This is stuff I had never heard of. It's also stuff I can't confirm. But as we get more into the JFK or the Epstein files, just know that like this is where Trump is getting this pushback. We saw Trump freak the fuck out yesterday when he was asked about the Epstein files, and he doesn't want anybody to talk about it anymore. But here's Megyn Kelly explaining something I was unaware of, and just at the very least, I think that there are two opposing opinions of how Epstein died, and trigger warning here, it's going to be a little bit graphic.
Jeffrey Epstein's brother, Mark, hired Dr. Baden, who is world renowned for his skills as a forensic pathologist, who conducted an autopsy on Jeffrey Epstein and came out of the autopsy saying this was a murder. He has a bone that was fractured in the front of his throat that gets broken typically when you've been strangled, not, I guess, when you hang yourself. And there were other indications by Dr. Baden that led him to say this was not a suicide. This doesn't look like a suicide. So, and there were other questions too that Jeffrey Epstein's brother has been raising. So it's like, it's more than just right-wing nuts, as like some in the press would have you believe, Tom, who are saying, wait. And on top of all that, you've got the Bondi statements over and over, the ones.
At least on the surface, that makes sense to me that would be very, very questionable. So on that day where you have half of MAGA very upset with Pam Bondi, half of MAGA just saying, trust the process. What they decided to do yesterday is they decided to trot out a new set of charges and a new brag about transparency. Here is Caroline Leavitt announcing on Jesse Waters a new investigation into this administration, or into the previous administration, and I guess maybe the previous Trump administration.
There's obviously something to that. We just heard Caroline, I don't know if you saw the top of the show. It looks like there has been an investigation opened up into James Comey and John Brennan, possibly lying to Congress in a conspiracy over the Russia hoax. What can you tell us about that?
Well, I just heard that news at the top of your show, and I'm
real quick. They're announcing an investigation. What you're about to hear is called poisoning the well. They are announcing an investigation to decide whether or not these two people did anything illegal. Trump's Justice Department. Now, remember, this is not a weaponized Justice Department, right? They are just here to find answers. They ask questions and they follow the results. What she's about to do here tells me that this isn't about finding results. This is the definition of a witch hunt. One of my biggest problems with Republicans in general and their policies is they start with the ideology and they work backwards. This is one of those instances where clearly they are starting with the assumption that James Comey and John Brennan are both guilty of a crime, and so they're investigating them with the assumption that they're guilty. They did this with Biden and the Biden crime family, and they worked backwards and they couldn't prove anything. They're going to do it again. And I just want you Republicans to remember that they don't ever seem to find an answer. How could none of these people ever get charged? So you're left believing one of two things. Either the deep state is so powerful that even when they remove the deep state and Trump's in power, that they can't control the deep state. Or maybe, just maybe, they're always lying to you about what other people are doing. This is petty bullshit. This is James Comey refused to pledge his loyalty to Trump. He allowed people to investigate the Trump campaign, which absolutely was working with Russia. There's no question about that anymore. People pled guilty to it. Steve Bannon was doing it. There's no question about that. And then John Brennan, I think they're bringing him up because something with the Steele dossier. This is grasping at straws. And on the very day that most of the country is laughing and the world is laughing at this administration because of their obvious lack of transparency when it comes to the Epstein files, they send out KKK Caroline Leavitt to tell us how transparent they are while she's about to smear these two people that they say they're investigating. She's already decided they committed a crime.
News at the top of your show, and I'm glad to hear it because both of these disgraceful individuals turned against our Constitution and our country, and I'm sure they did, in fact, lie to Congress, and it's up to the Department of Justice to investigate that and to prosecute them if they did. And what we have seen...
I'm sure they did. I'm sure they did it. These are disgusting, traitorous individuals who we have not investigated yet, but I've already concluded And to you at home, you can also conclude that they're guilty no matter what happens. They do this every fucking time because they know they don't have shit. When I've tried to find like what they're investigating. I hope you know that what they're investigating is that they think John Brennan was not completely honest when he said that the Steele dossier was not like imperative to getting the FISA warrant. That's it. That's the whole thing. They just think that they lied about the importance of the Steele dossier and how much they relied on it. And that's what they're investigating them for. They think that they lied before Congress about the importance of the Steele dossier. And their evidence is that there are two people that worked, I believe, in the CIA, could be FBI, I'm pretty sure it's CIA, who told John Brennan that they didn't think that the Steele dossier was good evidence. And frankly, it's not. It's not good evidence. And if you look at the Mueller investigation, the Steele dossier wasn't really used for any of the convictions at all. The Steele dossier was just a list of stuff that Russia was saying they did. And the reason it was included in the Mueller investigation is so they could investigate whether or not the things Russia was saying were true. And that's important because you have to know if Russia was claiming they had compromise on Donald Trump. They were claiming that they could control him because of that compromise. As intelligence agencies, that's important to know. If the president has dirt that, or if Russia has dirt on the president that they can use to get him to do their bidding. And guess what they found? They didn't find anything. That's it. That's the whole story. The whole story is they didn't find any evidence that Russia did have compromise. What they did find, however, is that a bunch of people in the Trump campaign did work with Russia. They collaborated with Russia. They shared information with Russia. It was clear that they both wanted Trump to get elected. That's what we learned. Did we verify the information in the Steele dossier? No. Does it matter? No, not one bit. It doesn't change any facts of the story. Even if they decide that John Brennan and James Comey weren't entirely forthcoming on how much they relied on the Steele dossier, I don't think you can prove that they're lying, because just because somebody else, like in their case, their evidence is that two people told Brennan that they didn't think it was good, that it was good evidence. Well, Brennan could just say, well, I think it is good evidence. So when they asked me if I think it's good evidence, I said, yes, I'm not lying. That's what I thought. I don't even know honest to God, I can't figure out what crime they're even going to nail to them, and they won't. This will be like every other investigation Republicans have done. Remember Hillary Clinton? Is she in jail? Nope. Is Fauci in jail? Nope. Is Joe Biden in jail? Nope. Did they ever bring charges in any of these cases? Nope, 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 nope. They never do. They just scare you with a conspiracy theory. They poison the well, just like she's doing right now, and they're all going to do it. Just watch. This investigation hasn't even started yet, and everybody on the right is telling you already that they are guilty. So the people who are running the investigation are starting with the conclusion that they are guilty and we are going to prove it. That's not innocent until proven guilty. That is, by definition, a weaponized Department of Justice. By definition. And you guys can complain about Donald Trump being the Department of Justice being weaponized against him, but they didn't do that. You didn't see Joe Biden. You didn't see what was Joe Biden's speaker's name? I forget her name already. What was the speaker's name for Biden? I don't remember. Son of a bitch. What's her name? I can see her face. That counts. I can see her face. Anyways. She wasn't out there saying Trump is not. Jen Psaki. I was thinking of after Jen Psaki. Who was after Jen Psaki? Because she would have been the one that was going over the later cases. Jean-Pierre. That's right. KJP. Thank you. But they weren't out there just saying, "Oh, Trump is guilty." In fact, they didn't really talk about it. They announced the investigations. They said there would be an investigation. There were investigations. The investigations came up with evidence, and charges were filed. Then they went to be in front of grand juries. Grand juries accepted the information, and then charges were filed. That was the correct way. That's not weaponization. This is weaponization. They are starting with, you are guilty, and we're going to figure out how you're guilty.
is corruption at the highest levels against President Trump. The deep state threw everything at him to prevent him from coming back to this big, beautiful White House behind me. And he prevailed, and the truth must come out. And
this is such a fucking bizarre way to speak about another human being. The way that the absolutism that she uses and all these Trump sycophants use, it's fucking weird. You understand? You have never seen a press secretary talk about the president in the way that she does. You've never heard people talk about a president in the way they talk about Trump. It's all this flowery language. It's all like wrapped up in prophecy. It is so North Korea. It's one of the strangest fucking things about this presidency is how over the top they have to go. And this is late stages of cultism. You think of the NXIVM cult. Originally, the NXIVM cult was like, oh, this is a great program. It helps people find their better self. The leader's really great. He's really responsive. By the end of the NXIVM cult, he literally could do no wrong while he was running like a sex cult and branding women. And those women are going out there going, he is actually the greatest. And everybody who criticizes him just is against the good that he's doing in this world. And they are demonic forces that are working against us because they don't like that they can't control us. That's what all these NXIVM women were saying. And then eventually when like he went to prison, a bunch of them were like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Yeah, he branded me. Yeah, he branded me, and I had to say all that stuff. Because if I didn't say that stuff, I lost everything. Everybody around me was talking that way, and it just keeps escalating. And it only escalates when you don't have evidence to like back up what you're doing. The worship of Donald Trump is fucking bizarre. For a guy who never has passed any bipartisan legislation. For a guy whose economy was like pretty fucking average. For a guy who is by far and away the most divisive leader our country has ever known. There is almost no middle ground on Trump. You love him or you hate him. He's incredibly divisive. Obama had like his detractors, but it wasn't like this. It is getting really fucking weird how they talk about Donald Trump. Really fucking weird. And I'm just saying that you can still support Donald Trump, but if you can't honestly look at this, if you can't watch the press secretary talk like this, and you don't think that this is fucking weird, and that it's masturbatory, and that it's borderline worship, I don't know what to tell you. You can still support him, but please don't try and gaslight us into saying this is normal behavior.
Against our Constitution and our country, and I'm sure they did in fact lie to Congress, and it's up to the Department of Justice to investigate that and to prosecute them if they did. And what we have seen is corruption at the highest levels against President Trump. The deep state threw everything at him to prevent him from coming back to this big, beautiful White House behind me, and he prevailed, and the truth must come out. And this administration is totally committed to transparency and to justice and to accountability. And we must have a rule of law in this country.
Very
we can't
important.
be a nation without law and order. That's what the president believes in, and I'm glad to see the Department of Justice is opening up this investigation.
All right, Caroline Levitt.
Yeah, that's what we're doing now. Because we just don't want to talk about how fucking awful this is. Here's the new lie. Here's Scott Besson on Twitter today, trying to run cover for the big, beautiful bill. You'll see this all over Fox News today. You'll see this, all your Republican friends are going to repeat this today. In fact, this legislation creates significant new bridge funding to help stabilize rural hospitals and enhance their long-term financial solvency. Through one big, beautiful bill, which doesn't exist, by the way, we are expanding rural hospital protections, providing targeted funds to rural care, and giving states flexibility to support local providers. Okay, let's talk about what they're actually doing. They took $50 billion and they put it in a slush fund. And that $50 billion is basically, I don't know if this is true or not. This is just according to Josh Hawley. According to Josh Hawley, basically $1 billion has been set aside for every state to use as a slush fund. That's why they got the $50 billion. Again, I don't know. I wasn't part of those negotiations. That's what Josh Hawley said in front of his constituents yesterday. So if I'm wrong on this, I apologize. I thought Josh Hawley might be a good source. However, what this is a $50 billion slush fund. So when the funding dries up for these rural hospitals because they don't get Medicaid money anymore, the states are going to bail them out with federal money. And that federal money expires, I think, in 2028. Might be 2029. Again, according to Josh Hawley. They have fucked these rural hospitals, and they know it. And so in order to not lose votes and not get smashed in the midterms, they threw in a $50 billion slush fund to give out handouts to just say, sorry, hospitals, I know you're losing money, but here's a little cash. Shut the fuck up. They're just bribing rural hospitals now. And of course, if you're a rural hospital, I'm bad at saying rural. If you're one of those hospitals, you're going to take that money. You have to take that money. Otherwise, you close. So it sets up this scenario where, as a hospital, you have to take that money. Then the Republicans are going to take credit for keeping your hospital open. Republicans are also going to say, look at all the fear mongering from Democrats. The Democrats told you that rural hospitals would close if we cut Medicaid funding, because those hospital Republicans, it's always this. They fuck something up and then they bail you out and they put you in a position where you have to take that money, and then they get to claim victory. So that's what they're all doing now, just so we're very clear. And those bailouts are probably going to have to continue. So after 2028, because J.D. Vance is going to say, Democrats want to kill rural hospitals. They didn't like the big, beautiful bill. They got rid of it, and now these rural hospitals are dying. And then the Democrats are going to go, no, you cut Medicaid. And then everybody that's watching is going to be like, well, they didn't like that $50 billion. And then that's going to have to be extended. And so we're just going to keep bailing out hospitals rather than create a system that works. What's up, Jen?
Okay. I don't know if, so it's glitching in here. So Jay lives in Satan's asshole, so it's really hot there. So if your stuff is glitching or freezing, refresh on your end. It's that's all we can do. So if it's glitching for you, just refresh, because that's